What's up guys, I'm Josh Mosman and welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 18 presented to you by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning in. In this video, we're going to be touching on the Salt Lake City Supercross, and we're going to be sharing some cool interviews from heavy hitters like Jeremy McGrath, Axel Hodges, and Tyler Behrman from Kahia Creek last week at the Bell Helmets Moto 10 intro. Starting things off with the 450 class, it was super cool to see Marvin Musquin get his first win of the season. There's been a lot of rumors going around about him retiring soon, and there's definitely a lot of people that are doubting him. You know, last year he had the ACL surgery, he missed the whole Supercross season. You could see a lot of weight lifted off of his shoulders after he crossed the finish line and celebrated with a little victory lap. Cooper Webb fought hard, and it looked like he was going to pass Marvin by the end of the race, but Marvin Musquin did pick it up at the end. Throughout the whole race, Daniel Blair, Ricky Carmichael, and Jeremy Albrecht, who all did a great job announcing, by the way, they were all talking about the pit boards. During the race, it seemed like Carlos and even Marvin Musquin's mechanic Frankie were both about a minute off. So Carlos, he told Cooper that he had 10 minutes to go when really they only had 9 minutes to go. Then he told Cooper that he had 5 laps to go on the pit board when really there was only 3 laps left. Then he said that there was 3 laps left when really he had like a lap and a half left. So you could tell that Cooper Webb was being patient and he was trusting in Carlos, and surprisingly it seemed like both Carlos and Frankie were about a minute off. As Musquin said, he came up to the finish line, he saw the white flag, and he was surprised to see that it was white flag already. Cooper Webb, you could definitely see that he picked up the intensity. Once he saw that white flag was out, it probably caught him by surprise, and he gave it everything he had, but Marvin Musquin was able to hold him off and take it to the finish line. So super cool. It was also cool to see Cooper Webb's frustration after the race. This guy's got a huge championship points lead. He just beat his rival Ken Roxon by quite a big margin, and he was still so frustrated that he didn't win. It was his teammate that won. Cooper Webb still not happy with second. So it was cool to see that kind of fight coming out of Cooper Webb, even with only 2 races to go and such a big championship points lead. It was also really cool to see Malcolm Stewart get his first 450 podium in Supercross with a 3rd place finish. He was riding awesome throughout the whole race, and surprisingly, the Salt Lake City Supercross, the whoops, they looked really easy, especially in practice. Riders were just skimming across them super fast, but when the main event came around, those things were rough. They were hard packed and tough to get traction through and tough to carry momentum through. I raced 1 season of Supercross back when I was pro. The whoops are very challenging. So when I raced there, it was dusty, it was slippery, hard to get traction. It looked like that again tonight. Malcolm Stewart, he excelled in the whoops. He was making up a lot of time in a section that I didn't really think was going to separate too many guys on Saturday night, but it did. He was keeping Cooper Webb honest and even tried to make a pass one time, but I think it almost worked out into Malcolm Stewart's advantage that he didn't pass Cooper Webb, because he was able to stick behind him, follow him, keep pace with him for the whole main event. If he had passed Cooper Webb, I think that almost would have been worse for Malcolm and would have been harder for him to hold on to finish on the podium at the end of the race. So overall, super cool to see Malcolm hang in there, get around Jason Anderson, and get a 3rd place finish after Ken Roxon went down. Super cool, and it was awesome to see his smile on the podium and hear the cheers from the crowd. Next up, we'll dive into the 250 class. I was super excited to see my little brother, Michael Mosman, back on the track and battling for the win this weekend with Joe Shimoda. He was up at the front, he was pressuring Joe, then he would make a mistake, drop back, pressure Joe, make a mistake, drop back. So obviously, it's too many mistakes if you want to grab the win, but I was super proud of him. He broke his hand at the Indianapolis Supercross, was off the bike for 6 weeks, only riding for a few weeks on outdoors and then for a few weeks on Supercross getting ready for Salt Lake City. He was debating whether or not he should skip the last 2 rounds and just get ready for outdoors like Austin Faulkner, RJ Hampshire, and some of the other riders who've gotten injured are doing, but I encouraged him to race the last 2 rounds, and I'm glad that he did. He got some good experience running at the front. Then Jet Lawrence proceeded to flip him off after he passed him, and my brother dove up to the inside of him in the next corner. Then Jet proceeded to go into the post-race press conference and talk all kinds of bad things about my little brother. So it was pretty hard for me to listen to, and I was wondering if I should even address it in this video, because I don't really want to talk about that. I got a lot of skin in the game with my little brother battling with Jet Lawrence, but I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to ask you guys in the comments. You can leave a comment on our YouTube video. Let us know what you think about the incident with my brother and Jet Lawrence. Obviously, my brother made a mistake in the rhythm section, doubled through it, while Jet Lawrence was able to triple, get by him. Then in the corner before the finish line, Michael came up the inside and got close to him. He definitely got close, but he didn't touch him. It didn't cause Jet to go out of his line or anything like that. Then Jet obviously went off the jump, gave him some hand signals in the air, and then the rest was history. So
I passed him clean, and then that next turn he kind of came right, felt like was it going to T-bone me, and luckily I committed. So I just over the finish line, I showed him that he was #1 and left it at that. But now you guys understand why I took him out at H2. Is just that if you don't bump him and make sure you get a gap on him, he goes for your front wheel. He's just that type of dumb rider. So it's and as you've seen, I passed him clean, didn't do anything dirty, and then he goes straight for the almost T-bone. It could have ended my night, and even worse, both of our night I could have been injured. So this shows how brainless he is, and I just had to make sure I showed he's the #1 rider of that list. So
me asking you guys, what do you guys think about it? Obviously I have my own opinion, but being his older brother, maybe I'll leave my opinion out of this. In other news, it was really cool to see Joe Shimoda grab his first win. Joe Shimoda is an awesome guy, super respectable. I've seen him and watched him for years growing up through the amateur ranks. I first saw Joe Shimoda at Oatfield in Northern California at a local track up there. He was riding on the KTM 65 probably about 10 years ago now. It was when he first came over from Japan. It was just his mom and his sister and him over here, I believe. Can't fact check me on that one, but it was really cool to see just him progress through the years. He's always put in the laps. He's always worked really hard whenever you see him at the track, working on technique, and it shows. He has a great technique, and he held it together in the 250 main event, grab his first win, and I'm super excited for him. Although the racing was super exciting at the first Salt Lake City Supercross, there were two major crashes that took a lot of wind out of the sails in the championship standings. The first one was Ken Roczen when he slid out in the 450 main event while leading the thing. Super bummer to see. It was a super small crash. Unfortunately, that did knock Ken Roczen from first place back to 6th place. So now all Cooper Webb has to do is finish 19th or better, and he'll get the championship this Saturday at Salt Lake City. In the 250 division, it was a huge bummer to see Christian Craig. He was second in the standings. He went down hard and broke the bottom of his fibula and also sprained his ankles, what it looks like after first reports from Christian. So super bummer to see Christian Craig go down, and that also took a lot of pressure off of Colt Nichols going into the Supercross season finale in the 250 East-West Shootout. Now all Colt Nichols has to do is qualify for the 250 East-West Showdown main event and finish 20th or better, and he'll win the 250 East Coast Championship. Also, Justin Cooper is coming in with the large points lead after Cameron McAdoo has had his struggles. He needs to just finish 17th or better, and he'll beat Hunter Lawrence, who is second place now in the 250 West Coast standings. Next up on the topic list is the Bell Helmets Moto 10 Spherical Intro that we attended last week at Kahia Creek. I wanted to touch on that as it was a really cool day. We got to hang out with some really great riders and learn all about the new helmet technology that Bell has done R&D testing and really worked on making the Bell Moto 10 an even safer helmet and better helmet for motocross. So I'm all about it when a company wants to invest time, money, and energy into making products safer for us to go riding with, especially helmets. The head is a very important part of the body. It's something that you can't replace. I was hoping that we were gonna show up to the intro. They were gonna sit us down. Instead of talking, they would just show us a big TV screen with Cameron McAdoo crashing and then getting back onto the starting line and racing again and finishing on the podium. That would have been a great intro and would have been pretty funny to see. But no, they didn't have his helmet there, and I did actually get to talk to them as soon as they learned that Cameron was lining up for the restart after that big hard hit that he took at Atlanta, that they were actually running back trying to get a new helmet for him as fast as they could. They had another one on the truck. It wasn't that they didn't have one, but it was just too late once they figured it out and things were moving quickly. So it was awesome to learn more about the helmet, and we got some really cool interviews out of it as well. All right, guys, we're at Kahia Creek. I got Axel Hodges here with me, and we're at the Bell Helmets Moto 10 intro, catching up with Axel. What's next for you? Like, so do you have some gear coming out? Is that what we hear about in the works, and what's going on there?
Yeah, right now I got the first sample sets of Slayco gear, and that's something we're gonna be pushing with Monster early next year as soon as we get all the gear in and get it all right and tight and cool. New gear.
How deep into the bike work are you getting? Are you changing your own tires? Are you getting into the engine at all, or what are you doing?
No tires. I'm like air filter, if anything oil guy, but if you see my bike broken, it usually means that I worked on it the night before. So try to do the best I can to keep up with it, but my dad helps me out. I got Rob in Temecula, Corey Barbie, and I got a few guys in my circle that keep my bike tight. Yeah.
Bell Helmets Moto 10 intro. Jeremy McGrath, you're out here. Been wearing the helmet. They said you've been kind of involved with it for a while now, huh?
You know, thankfully, I mean, I'm one of the guys that have been in Bell since 1987. My dad thought it was imperative to buy a safe helmet for me. You know, there was opportunity to do something different, but Bell for me was the right choice. So I've been working with the guys at Bell for a lot of years on this helmet. It's went through a lot of transitions, you know, along the way with testing and everything, and I'm pretty proud of the final product. You know, just with the group of guys that Bell has and the group of designers and engineers and stuff and technology that goes into a helmet like this is pretty amazing. It's not just like, hey, let's come out with a new helmet. Obviously, it's taken 6 years to build this thing, and again, I think everyone's pretty proud of it.
What do you think, I guess, is if there's an option next year, Jeremy McGrath, you get to choose, do we go back to Atlanta Motor Speedway or do we stick to stadium style events, and where would you choose?
I like it. I thought it was cool. I think we have 16 other Supercrosses that are in stadiums and they're all the same. So, you know, I feel for the track builders because you can only make the track so many different ways. And 450s, unfortunately, are so fast that I feel like they've outgrown the floor size of a stadium in some cases. So for me, Atlanta Motor Speedway was a nice, refreshing race. They avoided some pretty good chance of weather on the first one, I think it was. But I thought it was cool. It's definitely different. I'd like to see it go back.
Belt Moto 10, how long you been wearing it? What do you think about it?
By far one of the best helmets I've ever put on my head. As you can tell, the helmet's definitely doing its part. The engineers killed it on that thing, and it's literally one of the most comfortable helmets I've ever worn. McAdoo's been testing the heck out of this thing. Bierman tested this thing out of that jump he hit. He was like 250 feet, and he ended up going swapping face first. Didn't get knocked out, so.
First off, super scary for me. It was, yeah, 250-foot double. I was out there filming with Colby Raha for his new movie coming out in the fall, Narnia. Yeah, we were filming for about 2.5 hours and hit the jump, you know, probably 20, 25 times and felt super comfortable. And then right at the end of our session, the wind started to pick up and we went down just to grab a iPhone like teaser clip. You know, we were filming with some nice cameras and stuff, and to get that last clip and the wind just picked up. So I hit the first one's about 200 feet. That was 4th gear, and then you land click 5th, and the second one's 250. It's basically 5th wide on my 450. So I went to kind of float the front end into a turn up, and right when I left the lip, I felt the wind grab me a bit, and so my instinct is just to straighten it up and sky it on in. And when I straightened it up, I just opened up a little too early, and the wind just blew me back the other way. So I still had another 80 feet to go. So when I got blown by the wind, it blew me back the opposite way and landed sideways, and just huge get off. I was super thankful to be all right.
Alright guys, so that's it for this week in MXA episode number 18. Make sure to check out motocrossactionmag.com, our website, as we got a lot of news, reviews, race results, bike tests, shootouts, and more going on there. And stay tuned to our Instagram at motocrossactionmag, as we got a lot of coverage coming from Salt Lake City Supercross season finale. Gonna be on our website, on our Instagram this weekend, so check us out there. Also, click the subscribe button and click the notifications button on our YouTube channel so you can get an update every time we post a new video. That's all for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.